Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. We are continuing our live coverage of the Slamdance Festival, and we love a female-driven feature here in studio, especially one that had a female at the helm. I'm referring to Suck It Up, and I am sitting down with director Jordan Canning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. This
film, of course, is really based around the relationship between two women who are dealing with a similar loss.
Yeah. Absolutely. I keep saying it's a comedy about grieving in your 20s. So yeah, it's about these two best friends who are both grieving the loss of the same man. It's the brother of one and the first love of the other. And over the last year of his life, he got quite sick with cancer, and it sort of drove these two girls apart. And now we're 2 months into after he's died, and they're both really flailing in their grief. So this is really a film about the two of them sort of pushing their way through it and finding their way back together.
And relying on each other in the process.
Yeah, I mean, they're both dealing with their grief in very different ways, and that's where a lot of the conflict comes from. One of them is sort of like throwing herself into drinking and just sort of trying to push it away, and the other one is like focusing in and distracting herself, and she thinks that the way to kind of get through it is to take care of the other one. But of course, you know, we all grieve in different ways.
Well, and of course, and they're sort of looking at the same man as familial grief versus romantic grief, and sort of the dynamic of what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we never see Garrett is his name, who's passed away. We never see him, but sort of his ghost is sort of always present there. You know, his absence is what's always like stuck between them through the whole film.
So the film is based on the loss of a man, but everything else is really female.
Yeah,
I mean, this
it's
is
really
a film.
It's a film about two best friends.
It's two best friends, and it was written by a female. It was directed by a female.
It was edited by a female. Yeah, and actually the two leads, Erin Carter and Grace Klawicki, were quite instrumental in the project getting developed in the first place. I actually came on board after the fact. They had, you know, as it happens, there's always not a lot of great roles, so they wanted to create their own. So they approached Julia Hoff, who wrote the film, and said, hey, what do you think? Do you want to write a movie for us? And it sort of came together that way. We wrote for this small town in the Rockies and for a place that we could access, a cottage we had access to. And by the time I came on board, they already had a first draft script. So it's kind of an interesting way for it to come about, because the two leads were cast right from the get-go.
Before the words were even really written. Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah. So I love the description of a comedy about grieving in your 20s.
Yeah, a joyride through grief.
I like that. All right, we have a preview of Suck It Up. Let's take a look. I love that. We were all sort of giggling in the studio about the narration. So obviously this is about a relationship between two females. How important do you think it plays to have the writer, the director, the leads be so involved to keep the authenticity of that dynamic?
I mean, when I first read the script grabbed me. I mean, it was quite different from what we ended up shooting, but I heard Julia's voice. She had a really unique kind of way with dialogue and story. But when I met with Erin and Grace, we kind of met together in Toronto and had a coffee and sort of said, well, what do you think? And these two women just really, I just clicked with them, and I just felt I really wanted to make a movie with a lot of women. You know, I had made a first feature with a really small crew, and it was quite a sort of masculine film in a lot of ways. And yeah, it felt kind of like kindred, you know? So, and I think we carried that energy right through the shoot. We had this amazing group of women who just like, I don't know, I think that it trickles down through the whole crew when you have women kind of at the top.
Never underestimate the power of when we all get together, right? Exactly.
It sets a different tone. And yeah, we had such an amazing time shooting. It really was special for everybody involved. We all kind of felt like, oh, this is something real. Yeah, it felt like a really kind of amazing, special experience.
Well, Jordan, congratulations on your second feature, and of course being here at Slamdance Film Festival. I can't wait to see it in its entirety.
Tonight it premieres.
Tonight it premieres. Yep. Slamdance, the film is Suck It Up. We are going to take a quick break here on the Mountain Morning Show, and I'm going to be back with more coverage of Slamdance right after this.